Hello, Christina here. In this video, I will be swatching the latest collection from Dazzle Dry for spring 2024. This is the Spring in Bloom collection. And the very first color I'm swatching is called Honeydew. It's a very aptly named color. It is the exact color of honeydew. Now, I generally do not like honeydew, the actual fruit, but this color is actually really beautiful. It surprised me. I wasn't quite sure if I would like it because generally I don't gravitate toward green shades, but this is such a soft pastel green. It's got a little bit of a brightness to it. It's really rather beautiful. Now, I definitely needed to do two coats of this color. After two coats, I could still see a little bit of some shadow on my nails, especially my pinky nail and also on my ring finger. So I actually went in with a third coat. Now, this is definitely a cream or creme polish, so it is very smooth in application, but since it is such a light shade, it does need that additional coat. So here's three coats without a top coat. It kind of dries to a satin finish a little bit, but once you add that top coat on top, it looks nice and juicy. Definitely makes me think of its namesake. And now I really just want some honeydew and maybe some cantaloupe. That sounds really delicious right now. So this is honeydew. It's a beautiful shade, a nice pale green. I wouldn't say it's a pistachio. It's definitely more of a very bright honeydew. All right, on to the next shade, which is called Creamsicle Sorbet. Now, I love a really good orange creamsicle. I'm your gal. I'm having that orange popsicle, creamsicle, and it's delicious. Now, this color on its own, I think, is absolutely beautiful. It doesn't really work for my skin tone, sadly. So this is one of those shades that will be, it will fall to only be used in nail art, maybe the centers of flowers or something like that, because this color does not jive with my skin tone. But you know what? After one coat, it was a little bit sheer still, so I went in with a second coat, and the second coat really does bring out all the opacity of this color. It's really beautiful, a very classic cream polish. I have no complaints with application. The application was flawless. It worked really, really well. And once you add that top coat on top, it brings back the shine and it looks really beautiful. Just not my cup of tea. Doesn't work for my skin tone. But I know plenty of people who maybe have more warmer skin tones, maybe even more tan than I. It would look absolutely beautiful on that skin tone. Just not one for me. So like I said, I'll save this one for nail art. The third color in the Spring in Bloom collection is called Cherry Blossom, and this color really surprised me. I wasn't sure if I would like it. It's kind of a little bit of a more warmer pink than I generally gravitate to, but this one really surprised me, and I actually really love it. And I didn't really realize how much I loved it until after I had it finished. So in the bottle, it has this really pretty flash of sparkle, and it's a little bit hard to see on the nails until you have a top coat on. So at this point, I'm not really seeing much of that shimmer, maybe only when I initially apply it to my nail. But once I add the top coat, that flash of shimmer is really going to come back. And for as sheer as this polish seemed to be at first, I was really surprised. I didn't feel like I needed a third coat of this one. And maybe it is that shimmer in the polish that kind of disguises a little bit of that visible nail line, but I didn't feel like I needed it. So now I'm going to put the top coat on, and it just brings back all of that sparkle and very, very subtle shimmer. This is such a subtle shimmer that really, I think it's only for the enjoyment of the person who's applying it, because you've got to be really up close to see it with the natural eye. I really brought my nails close to my camera so you could see the beautiful sparkle, but really, who in their right mind is looking at someone's nails that closely? So it's really just for the enjoyment of the person who puts it on, for the nail enthusiast. This is a really beautiful color, and I was really surprised how much I loved it. Going on to the final two colors, which are purples. This is Lovely Lilac. And this is another one of those colors that surprised me. I don't tend to reach for really pastel shades. I tend to want a little bit more of a stronger color, or if it's lighter, I like it to be a more natural shade. So like a pale pink or something like that. But this color surprised me. It does have a little bit of that very slight shift in shimmer color. It's a little bit hard to describe, but after I initially painted it, I was like, it almost looks like it has that a little bit of that glazed donut look, a little bit like there might be a chrome on top of this. It's very subtle, but it is a very different finish and it looks really, really pretty, especially in person. Now, it does need 2 coats. I mean, it was a little bit of a stretch. You might have gotten away with 1 coat, but 2 coats really brings this polished color to life. And then once you add that glossy top coat, that's when I started to really notice that very subtle shift in that shimmer. And it almost had a little bit of that glazed look. I think the very glossy top coat with that very subtle shimmer is a great combination for a little bit of a different finish for this really lovely purple. All right, we're going on to the last shade, which is actually what I chose to put on all 10 of my nails. So I'm going to be wearing Periwinkle Passion probably for the next 7 days. And I'm glad I picked this as my final swatching color because it is a dream. It applies beautifully and it is the most beautiful blue purple shade. It's a blurple, as they say. Periwinkle's a great name for it. Although when I think of periwinkle, I think of a slightly lighter shade, but this is actually really, really beautiful. It goes on great in 1 coat. I think you could get away with 1 coat with this color. I think it has a really great opacity, but just because I like a little bit more of a plump look on my polishes, I went in with a 2nd coat, and this really smooths things out. I have no complaints when it comes to the application for this polish, especially this one in particular, because it applied so easily and I had no issues with it. I did have 1 little bubble that started to pop up near the end here, but it was such a small little blip that I hardly even noticed it. In fact, I really only noticed it on camera when I was editing this footage. In person, in real life, I can't see that bubble on this middle nail. So that glossy top coat brings back that shine. And this is such a beautiful shade for all of us cool toned people. This is going to be a staple color for us, I think. I really, really love this one. It might be my favorite out of the whole bunch.